We were waiting you. Anyway, good morning. How are you feeling today? Yes. Are you in rush to leave Mumbai or excited for the city tour tomorrow? Anyway, welcome to this third plenary session, the closing day of the AMIC 31st conference here in Mumbai. This session is about the digital newsroom, exploring policies, practices, and innovative tools. We have 4 panelists to share with you their insights on how digital transformations are impacting our newsrooms. Sorry for the delay. We are almost late by 40 minutes, but I will try to be brief. And through this plenary, we'll be discussing and our panelists will be sharing with you the insights how digital transformation is actually driving our newsrooms in terms of the policy, engagement, the academia, ethical standards, fact-checking, and the infrastructure issues, safety concerns, and whatnot. And before I invite on stage our panelists, a brief introduction myself. My name is Lakshman Dutt Pant. I'm AMIC representative for Nepal. I lead a CSO called Media Action Nepal. We work fundamentally on safety of journalists with day-to-day monitoring of the media rights violations. I'm also teaching at Tbilisi State University in Georgia under Erasmus Mundus exchange program for last 4 years. Also with some alliances, recently got elected to the board of Global Forum for Media Development, GFMD. And I served as one of the elected co-chairs for an intergovernmental setup called Media Freedom Coalition, along with several other international media rights bodies, including IFJ, CPJ, Article 19, and GFMD. With this brief introduction, I would like to call on stage our panelists today. Unfortunately, one of the panelists is not joining us. We wanted to have this discussion diverse, bringing academia, newsroom practitioners together. Urvashi Kapoor is not joining us because of her leg injury. So we approached Professor Meera Desai, and thank you very much for agreeing to join us. And I'm inviting you on stage, Professor Meera K. Desai. I will introduce them briefly. Then I would also like to invite to join us Dr. Danilo A. Arao. Also calling us to join Dr. Jesada Salathong and Dr. V. Vijay Kumar. A brief introduction of our panelists today, starting from Dr. V. Vijay Kumar. He is the Dean of School of Communication at XIM University. Also a seasoned mass communication professional and a media educator with a lot of engagement around academia and research. Professor Meera K. Desai, as you know, since he has been engaged in several discussions here, but a brief introduction, she is the senior professor and head University Department of Extension and Communication at the SNDT Women's University, and also AMIC representative in India. Dr. Danilo A. Arao is a professor in the journalism department at the College of Media and Communication, University of the Philippines, with extensive experience in media research and education. Dr. Jesada Salanthong is the assistant professor, Faculty of Communication Arts at Chulalongkorn University in Bangkok, and is also around media research, and also he is a newsroom practitioner. He was just informing me. So hopefully he will be able to share with us how these digital transformations are impacting day-to-day newsroom practices as well. And to again, apologies for the delay. We are late by 40 minutes. So originally this session was planned to be in between 1 to 1.5 hours, but I would like to, limit our conversations in 1 hour, if that is possible. And just to have the idea about how we are going to discuss the issues, three of our panelists are going to present their presentations with highlights on different dimensions, but as they informed me, uh, the algorithmic bias, the presence of artificial intelligence, and the ethical standards alongside classroom and newsroom dynamics, fact-checking issues. Maybe they will also touch on the issues of disinformation and misinformation, whether or not technology is reshaping the newsroom in terms of work, the credibility issue as well. So to begin with, and Professor Meera K. Desai will respond some of the moderator, facilitated questions, as he's not prepared for the presentations. Then I will have a few questions based on their presentations. Then we go for around 15 minutes Q&A sessions, along with some closing remarks from our panelist. I think you agree on this modality. Okay, thank you. Without further ado, I would like to invite Dr. Danilo Earayo for your presentation. Please, please note that you are given 7 minutes for your presentation. And if you could make your presentation in less than 7 minutes, I would appreciate it. Over to you.
Check. Sound. Okay, 7 minutes. Okay, it starts now. Anyway, this is about the publication where I am associate editor. So aside from Media Asia, where I'm the editor-in-chief, I work as a journalism practitioner at the same time that I work in the university. So I don't have a life. Anyway, so the okay. So that is a term in Filipino that means to unearth or to expose. So it's a website that has been established since 2001, and our specialization is human rights reporting or human rights journalism. We are different from the mainstream or corporate media because, as Chomsky describes, the corporate media are there for profit. We are not for profit, and in fact, we don't pay our staff and our editors. So everything is voluntary. We do it out of commitment and out of the felt need to ferret out the truth, especially that the Philippines is facing a lot of problems. Name it, we have it. That's how things are. And again, okay, it's a bit slow. So we've been attacked by government. This is the website of the government, and they said that we promote, along with another website, which is part of the alternative media, we are accused of promoting terrorism because of our practice of talking about human rights. There are a lot of organizations that support us. So if you're a freedom-loving individual or group, normally you would support us. But if you are evil, then you will not. So this is what we do. So we try to air or publish things that are not usually given much emphasis by the mainstream media or the corporate media in the Philippines. We are women-led. Most of the people in Bulatlat are women. And in fact, our editor-in-chief, this one, okay, actually she's old but she looks young. But most of the other people are young. So it makes you wonder, I'm not a woman and I'm not young, so what am I doing here? I was part of Bulatlat in 2001. So mainly I'm there for institutional memory. But of course, those who are doing much of the work would be the young ones and women. So we're focused on human rights. We are bound by ethics. We're evidence based. Of course, we've had our share of awards. This is one of the awards that we got. So there is some degree of recognition in the organization. And we are the first to be recognized by the Reporters Without Borders to adhere to the highest standards of newsroom management or the digital newsroom management. This is called the JTI or the Journalism Trust Initiative. We are the first in the country to have that distinction. Something like the equivalent of ISO compliance in corporations. Now, we stand for the truth and we stand also for the marginalized and underrepresented. Now, the topic of our panel discussion is more on the digital newsroom. So the dimension that I want to talk about would be how we go beyond reporting because Bulatlat through the years has been subjected to different forms of harassment and intimidation. And in the context of the digital world, we have been subjected to censorship, and cyber attacks. In the Philippines, we can be accessible right now, or at least for now, because we filed a case in court against the government, and the judge was kind enough that while the case is still pending, they will lift the blocking order of the National Telecommunications Commission of the government. So that's the kind of thing that we go through on an everyday basis. We also published the Digital Security Policy and Guidelines for Filipino Journalists to document our experience and to give certain lessons to the public, to the journalists, to the journalism students and journalism educators on how all of us can ensure digital safety. Of course, we're still fighting. Yeah, that's me anyway. So these are our lawyers. These are award-winning writers as well. So, and we've sought to unblock the website. But of course, the state-sponsored harassment and intimidation, they are still ongoing, especially the military. So we are best friends with the military right now. Okay? And when I say best friend, you know what I mean. So we're gaining a lot sense that through the proper management of the digital newsroom, we're able to ensure that we maximize the technology as the state would weaponize it against us. So that's the irony. There is maximization and there is weaponization. Okay, so I still have 45 seconds here and I should stop now because I'm able to do time management, which is a bit ironic because I'm from the Philippines. Thank you. Bye-bye. Okay.
Okay, I'm becoming somehow liberal to provide you with 10 minutes of presentations, but thank you very much for, he will utilize that time responding to questions. I will ensure that you have as much as questions. So next, I would like to request Dr. Jeshada Salanthong for your presentation. 10 minutes.
Hello. Yeah. Okay. So, Laxman, I cannot see this. Can I switch the position with you. Sorry. Well, because I cannot see the presentation. So, first of all, thank you, AMIC, for having me here. And I would like to tell my story a little bit. Well, actually, the very first academic conference in communication that I joined was AMIC in 2010 in Singapore. Yeah, that was my first time. So actually, I'm very glad to be back here in AMIC as a speaker today. Okay, I'm Jesada Salatong. Just call me Jess. Right now, I'm a assistant professor at Faculty of Communication Arts, Chulalongkorn University back in Thailand. I'm also the news anchor as well. I'm the news anchor and TV presenter and radio host. So you can see my photo as a news anchor. And people always ask like, what we normally wear when we do the news anchoring. I always wear shorts. Okay, anyway, well, today I'm going to talk about generative usage of AI, generative AI usage in the newsroom, a case study of Thailand media landscape. And I think that will reflect a little bit about the use of AI in the newsroom anywhere especially in Southeast Asia. First of all, AI is heavily used right now. I think like everyone uses it. But how about in the newsroom? Right now, we use AI a lot as well, especially in Thailand. But with the limitation of their AI knowledge and AI literacy and also the language barrier, that's a big problem in the usage of AI in Thailand as well. Um, yeah, okay. Well, I would like to show you this. In Thailand, we very active on using AI, but normally we use AI just to do the PR and packaging stuff, you know. Many media outlets in Thailand, like Nation or Thai PBS, they use AI, like especially they always claim that they have AI news announcer. But actually, if you look at this, you know, they just I cannot really call it AI because they just like use some digital, you know, and some animation. But actually, they rarely integrate AI into their newsroom process. Okay, I think the most AI heavy user in AI in Thailand is Thai PBS. They just announced that they use AI in almost every parts of their news production. Like the first one, news topicalization, the brainstorm with AI, and also they use the news personalization by using AI, which is really important right now. And many news outlets in Thailand use AI for news personalization so that they can, you know, like find the right target for their news. Okay, next one. Okay, and as Dr. Denny said that he's really hardworking, and I have to thank that he's an editor of my of this book as well, Future of Media in Asia. And I wrote a book chapter, and this gonna be official launch next month, right? In November, right? Hopefully. Okay, hopefully. So we work together for a year, I think. Yeah, more than a year. Yeah, more than a year, and it will come out. So I'm not sure. Like, have you talked about this? But please go and take a look and buy it. Okay. Anyway, I wrote a book chapter called Generative AI Usage in the Newsroom, a case study of Thailand's media landscape, together with my two colleagues, one from Sukhothai Thammatharat University, and another one is my former MA at YC, and right now he's became a professor at Kasetsart University as well. Okay, next. Okay, the key findings. Well, there are two main findings that we found. The first one is potential is recognized. So when we did a rough research and we asked journalists in Thailand, they realized the importance and the convenience of AI. However, there are hurdles exit. Like as I told you, some of them lack AI literacy and they don't know how to use AI. The language barrier is a big problem. Okay, next one. Um, so it's a big dilemma. Although they would like to use it and they would like to make the work faster, but at the same time, there's a gap, you know, because they're really afraid of credibility. Like some of them use it while they're still like worried that the credibility of the source, because we know that hallucination is a problem of AI as well, and there are ethics problem that's also make them concerned about this as well. Okay, so we found that there are three big concerns when we ask journalists in Thailand. The first one is ethical implications, like plagiarism, or the copy of the work, the copyright of the work, who's gonna own this piece of work, data management, and also privacy concerns. These are the main three key concerns that journalists in Thailand worried about. Okay, so when we would like to use generative AI, we when we ask journalists, they also they found that this is really important to be very careful on the use of AI for sensitive content, and also the factual verification. I think the last one, factual verification, is the thing that they concern a lot, because right now, there's another case. Maybe some of you may know that we have conflict with Cambodia, our neighboring country. And during this meantime, we had a lot of AI fabricated information and photos a lot. So in this sense, some of the news outlet, even like the big media outlet in Thailand, they also use the AI produced or AI generated photos without without like concerning or without knowing that it is generated by AI, and it was spread quite wide in the public. So this is the things that we have to be very concerned. And many times when we would like to work against the time, work against the clock, people just use it and use AI, and the verification and fact checking is really, really a big problem. Okay, and another thing that they're quite worried for journalists. They had a question that if they use AI a lot, if the news agency employ AI a lot, then will they lose their job? So that's another problem. So actually, our suggestion is actually if we train them to be AI skilled journalists, in this sense they can survive. So what kind of areas that they can have more skill to work with AI? The first one is prompt engineering. They have to be able to use prompt accurately and wisely. This is the first one. And the second one is fact checking. I think fact checking is still the key, because even you have AI, but as we already know that AI can be our assistant, but cannot be, like the whole thing that we rely on. So I think fact checking is still the key and is really, really important. Okay, so according to the findings, these are our suggestions. So invest more in training, okay? Develop clear AI policies. This is a big problem in Thailand and many countries in Southeast Asia, that we don't have a clear AI policy and regulations yet. In Thailand, like it seems like AI go very fast, but our policy and regulation are still lag behind. So in this sense, this is really important, and we need to have the regulations and policy that's clear, especially in the newsroom and journalism. And next one, we should have a support system to provide assistance or any tools to help journalists. And last one, we need to maintain editorial oversight. Human is still important, when we come to the news editing and newsroom. So we still need a real human to oversee all of this process. Okay, in conclusion, well, AI is really important as inevitable. So we cannot say no to AI. So we have to have them in, to let them in. However, we still need to have skill in order to oversee it and also to fact check it. We don't say no to AI, as I told you, but how to live together with AI, this is challenging, and I hope that I can share the cases and more experience to our panelists and all of you later. I think I use the time within 10 minutes. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Dr. Jasada. May I now request Dr. V. Vijay Kumar for your presentation? I don't know. Yes.
slides. It's in chess, they say first mover's advantage. In plenary session, I may have last speaking uh, resource person disadvantage. Okay, right. So thank you so much for having me here, AMIC 31st Annual Conference. Good morning, my dear panelists. Consist of senior academicians, friends, um, and we are having something very important related to the voice of Asian media. So I have slides, please. I have 8 pointers, very structured kind of a deliberation. The very first one is from analog desk to digital dashboard. The newsrooms of today is not defined by walls or deadlines, but it is defined by data, devices, and digital agility. Slide change. In the span of one generation, what we have gone through is we have migrated from typewriter, moved on to satellite uplinking. I remember I started my career with satellite uplinking. Now we have passed through cloud-based publishing, and now we have real-time analytics. The newsroom is now a ecosystem, probably a living organism that shaped by audience metrics, digital algorithmic visibility, and networked collaboration. So having worked across broadcast production and academia in media studies, I have seen this transformation from both the sides. As practitioners, we always have something called immediacy, concerned with immediacy and aesthetics, deadline. And as an educator, we are always concerned about ethics, verification, and impact. I hope all the academicians here agree to me. So the challenge today is not just how fast we publish, but how truthful and responsible we are in creating or curating digital content amidst information overload. Slide change. The next is policy shift and architecture of truth. Digital transformation has redefined journalistic policy framework at multiple levels. Newsrooms are no longer governed by editorial hierarchies, not the organization policies. Now it is also governed or no concerned about policy, about the platforms and the policies, algorithms, automation, modernization system given by global tech companies, because we are using their platforms a lot. So we are abide by their policies and rules. So policies about data privacy, policies on audience targeting, content recommendation have been blurred between journalism and digital marketing. It is hard fact. No longer, no journalism is standalone. It is blurring now. So in Indian context and broadly in Asian context, digital first platforms often function without the institutional safeguard that protect legacy journalism. Fact checking, source verification becoming a key nowadays, because what we are, because of public trust. Uh, we cannot rely just only with the SOPs of the newsroom by the organizations. We need to be intellectually strong. As a media educators, we must advocate policy literacy, treat algorithm as an actors in the process of communication. We cannot just simply stick with SMCR model. Slide change. Practice the convergence, the culture of convergence. Today's newsroom has 3 C's. Okay. Earlier we were having a journalist who is a journalist. Now he is a multitasker. He need to report, edit, videograph. He need to be a social media strategist also. Nowadays, many journals, they ask for short content for pushing the articles in the social media. They ask for content, in 20 words or 20 characters, something like that. Yes, the world is towards it. So 3 C's, the first C is credibility. Yes, anchored by verification and cross-sourcing, because abundance of information, so we need to be very careful about it. The second C is creativity. If we miss it, we no longer a media and communication person. Okay, so it blends design thinking, narrative aesthetics, multimodal storytelling. We are all storytellers, right? Every professor is a storyteller who engage a classroom for 1 hour, 50 minutes, 1.5 hours. I hope my colleagues will understand that and agree to it. Connectivity, the third C is connectivity, because we have to leverage interactivity. Okay, so all this really makes a big sense. Slide change. The next is innovative tools, from automation to augmentation. Innovation in digital room is increasingly shaped by what my dear friend talked about: AI, ML, and data visualization. So AI tools now can transcribe interviews, generate headlines, detect plagiarism, even draft news summaries. So we have to match towards it. But is it AI or these kind of technologies going to replace manpower? No, because we are there to make sensibility about what we are going to share it to our audience. So in my view, future newsroom is hybrid, where human intuition and machine computation, coexist. And editors of tomorrow will be required to interpret data, dashboards frequently, and like what they were doing all these years, news angle, they are very acquainted to know how to present a news. Now in the future, they now already it is started, they need to have a good knack of data interpretation. Slide change. Training the digital minds, yes. A practitioner moved on to become an academic, so I need to talk about it. So digital transformation also demand pedagogical transformation. Media schools no longer can have journalism or digital journalism or data journalism as an elective. So at XIM University, in my university, we have courses on educational media design and production, digital cinematography, interactive communication, digital marketing, and all those things. So this explores the technology, creativity, and social responsibility. Next slide change, because I don't want to increase the BP of blood pressure of my moderator. 2 minutes. 2 minutes, yes. So, new ethical frontier. Digital journalism integrates AI, immersive media. Ethical boundaries are being always tested. So, yeah, because we have challenges like deepfake, AI generated voice, augmented visuals, that challenge the authenticity. So therefore, the ethical responsibility of journalists coming into place now extends to something called technological literacy. It's no more media literacy. It's technological literacy. During my time in college, our professors were talking about media literacy. Now we have to move on our media literacy to technological literacy, which is going to support media. So we need to be techno-ethical, reflective person. It's challenge. It's a big thing. We have to go for it, because in a short span of time, in one generation from typewriter, now we have no augmented AI. Right? Moving on to the next. Human element. Yes, the touch of human empathy in the algorithmic age. There is no substitute for empathy. There is no substitute for the humanness in journalism. So we need to have the humanistic element as a core. We need to have the knowledge of metrics. We should have the know of dashboards, SEO strategies, and things like that. And the journalists must ask themselves, whose story are we amplifying, and whose story remain unheard? Today in the second half, one of our book is going to get released. It's about media and marginality. The biggest topic we were having is, whose voice is not heard? Journalists need to take care of this. Yes, sir. Last slide. Towards resilient digital space. That is the conclusion slide. The future of digital newsroom lies in building resilience. Resilience of institution, resilience of organization, resilience of journalist, resilience of media educators, and the audience, for the audience. So policies must prioritize press freedom, digital security, Many times I see my friends, they are posting in a social media platform saying that this is not my ID, somebody has faked it, be careful. So digital security, then practitioners must balance creativity with ethics. Tools must empower them, not to alienate them. And if all these are taken care, these dimensions like policy, practice, innovation, and things like that, then uh, digital newsroom is no longer a challenge for us. It is a interesting field, to play, like our IPL or like our football or soccer or something like that. Thank you for having me here. Thank you so much for my time.
Thank you very much, Dr. Vijay Kumar. Mm, Before we jump into a few questions from my side to all of our panelists, I would like to give floor to Professor Meera Desai to respond. You listen their presentations, and I would like you to respond a particular question on whether our newsrooms and academia are adapting. How should they adapt these transformation in relations to addressing the online safety concerns, ethical standards, particularly online harassment at the time of content is being created through Gen AI. Would you like to respond to it? Yeah, please.
Since Indian time has been already questioned, I'll try and be as brief as possible. Two, three things. One is that thank you for getting me here. The digital newsrooms are here because in 2024, the Prime Minister of India awarded content creators. So if the state is acknowledging that you exist, that means the digital newsrooms are having a voice and they can't be thrown out. So the visibility and existence has been established. Another thing that happened in 2024 in India is that 5 independent news organizations decided to cover the election together, considering that they had limitations of resources, being news portals. So News Laundry, News Minutes, Scroll, Wire, and Caravan joined forces, and they did the 2024 election coverage together. Obviously, as you said, in Philippines, they were labeled as anti-national, urban nexals, and all that. So the digital portals are a kind of alternative voices. We can't deny that, but there is a huge debate right now in terms of journalists versus influencers, because there are a lot of people who feel that influencers don't have a responsibility, no gatekeeping, no editing controls, nobody knows what is right and wrong. So wherein journalist is a part of a structure of news organization and somebody is kind of agenda setting and gatekeeping. Having said that, there is a huge issue with reference to the credibility of newsrooms. We are into the kind of most difficult time right now in terms of the news personnel's credibility, in my understanding, as I hear people talking about it. The challenges are largely 4 that I would like to talk about. One is I'm part of this, and I'll acknowledge that because so I'm part of this network of women in media in India, and it's a news portal. It's not a news portal; it's a loose forum of women who work in media and who teach media. And 4 or 5 months back, a lot of women who are providing content in digital platforms complained about having lost their bylines. So the content that they had created, for which the platform would have paid them, their bylines no more existed on the portal. And they were kind of panicking because it's like their life's work, and they complained to the platforms, and platforms did not respond positively. And then the old school journalist kind of advised them that whenever the story goes, you download the PDFs and keep it so that at least you will have evidence for your work and all that. So there's a very kind of problematic issue, because whose content are we talking about? Who is creating that content? So I'm not going whose voices, because that's another huge kind of issue. Second is Meta has decided to remove the fact checkers. So it's like we are in a sea with her sharks. So as audiences, you have no way to go unless you kind of exactly have your brains in place, which is problematic in today's time. And third is, I have a student who worked with number of news organizations, and she decided now to sell credit cards because she said, I can't work in a newsroom because I have to take a side and I don't want to take a side. So the last job that she left is a first post, and it's considered to be a very important portal in India. But she felt that it's a very pro state, and she was with Republic, which is also very pro state. And whatever her training in classroom is, she feels that I don't want to work like this. So it's better to be with a corporate and sell a credit card. So this kind of says something about journalism training for us as teachers. And just to kind of conclude, digital newsrooms are going to create a lot of challenges for content creators, platforms, and regulators, because it's extremely difficult to kind of, in a way, it's very easy to control for state and for the platforms, but for audiences it's extremely difficult. So I'm not talking about freedom of expression. My concern largely is about I'm honestly not very sure when we talk about freedom of expression, because we all are aware about how women journalists have been trolled. And I kind of a lot of time read about these women who kind of vent themselves out and the way they get abused and all that. So um, it's kind of pretty messy right now in my understanding, and we hopefully will have some sunshine in some time to come. And being optimist, I feel that the water will find its own level. And thank you for accommodating me, because one of the concern I had when we were designing this panel is to get some more women on this panel. And unfortunately, I landed up being here. So thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Professor Mira, for shedding light on the Indian context, how newsrooms are coping with the digital transformation. Let's have some discussion before we go to the audience for questions. I would like to start from Dr. Danilo. Uh, you shared a lot about the web publishing platforms, uh, and you said that this is a woman-led platform. So my question is on how this platform is particularly addressing the issues of online safety in a context that there are a lot of smear campaigns against people across the world, not only in the media but also in the political arena. So, what are the key safety challenges in the context of this is web platform practice, and what do you think? How should they be addressed? Is there any day-to-day pressure on the newsrooms through unidentified or identified or sometimes vested interest people or power centers, and how do you cope with those safety concerns?
Okay. Our key safety concern, at least in the digital newsroom, would be the government itself, which tries to weaponize certain laws, and they maximize their they weaponize their position so that they can control the narrative, so that they can be projected in a more positive light. That's why, if you look at the history of the Philippine press, those in the alternative media, the term that's used by the government would be the mosquito press, especially during the time of the dictatorship in our country. Why is it a mosquito? Because we're very small compared to the mainstream digital newsrooms. We are very small, but we bite a little bit, and sometimes we make the comfortable very, very uncomfortable, even for just a short period. So there is some impact, but of course, how do we address those things? Mental health is very important for us. We try to assure, especially the younger generations, that that these things would have to be done no matter how uncertain the future may be. So the level of idealism among the youth, it's hard to describe it. I mean, if you compare it across generations, we're seeing the improvement in terms of the commitment to the profession. So the quick answer to Laxman's question would be there are high-tech ways to repress the media, but the old-fashioned manner of doing journalism, adherence to the highest standards of ethics, we're doing that as well. In other words, our best defense is the journalism that we practice. Thank you.
Well, thank you. I would like to move upon Dr. Jashida. You shared interesting insights on generative AI,
Yeah.
whether or not it is facilitating the process of newsroom practice, examples from Thailand. Uh, would you like to share with us, as you are both in classroom and newsroom, and are there any safety concerns on part of the acquisitions come across that this particular content is AI made content? I would provide you an example from Nepal. Billions of rupees have been burnt out in a protest to a former 5 times serving prime minister. And the activists associating with that political party started, campaigns online that these are fake videos, which are actually not, because these videos were fact checked by third party. I personally also observed that these videos are actually real. So there are power centers, particularly political power centers, and they often go on accusing the newsrooms that when they disagree with the content newsrooms prepare, that this is a fake news, this is AI generated. So are there any that sort of accusation? And if it exists, what are your suggestions to address these issues?
Okay, thank you. Very good question. Well, first of all, I would like to reflect some use of AI from Thailand case. Exactly just like what you said. Um, is not only the problem of using AI, but actually it's a problem of information disorder, disinformation, misinformation, right? And AI, became weaponized, just like my colleague just said, like AI was employed a lot in terms of spreading or making, like disinformation and misinformation. In Thailand as well, I think in many countries that in Thailand, for example, we always politicize, the messages like this as well. When we say that this is fake news, it's very subjective. Like in fake news, in whose opinion, right? In Thailand case, I just mentioned earlier about the case of the dispute between Thailand and Cambodia. Many times, people just like made the video clip made from AI and they just spread it out like widely. Why? Actually, they might concern or they might doubt that this is AI, but because that is really support their ideology, especially against the oppositioner against Cambodia and support their nationalism, right? So they just spread it right away. So it's not only about their AI literacy, but ideology behind echo chamber, this kind of thing really spread out the AI literacy, the AI generated content quite widely. So I think, of course, we talk a lot about AI literacy, technological literacy a lot. But another thing is, I think the AI ethics, integrity, and fact checking has to go hands in hand. So in this sense, when I adopt these cases back to my university from newsroom to classroom, when I talk to my students, of course they concern and they have AI literacy quite high because they are digital native, right? And actually, when I ask them like, would you like to use AI for your daily life or your work? You know what? In Thailand, I think over the past few years, we had a kind of a trend, like generating your profile by AI. Have you done that before? Like to be like some AI photo or something, right? It's quite a lot. Well, for me, it's very difficult because when I look at my social media, I don't know who is there because it's all AI generated and it look quite the same. But when I talk to my students, they said that no, professor, we don't do that because for AI, digital native, they know how to use AI and they don't wow with this. They said that only baby boomer and like older generation did that because they want to look in trend. They want to jump into the bandwagon. So I think for younger generation, they know pros and cons of AI better than us. They know when they should use AI, but at the same time, they have some problem with reliance on AI as well. For example, like they use AI for their research and for works, and in what line, when they cross from originality and AI generation. I think this is something that we have to remind them when they use AI, how much, in what extent, and what kind of responsibility that they have to take when they use AI. I think this can reflect, hands in hand between classroom and newsroom. Yeah.
Well, thank you. Thank you for your response. Can you just pass that microphone on to Dr. Vijay Kumar? You shared very interesting journey of the analog to digital newsrooms, and you highlighted uh, that the immediacy is something somehow you didn't say those words, but I'm just trying to cover it up with immediacy. Do you agree that immediacy in the newsroom today is one major problem in the race of becoming fastest? Don't you think that the credibility of the content that our newsrooms produce today is in question? How should newsrooms address the uh, concerns and accusations of uh, making mockery of the ethical standards alongside these digital innovations in the newsrooms?
Thank you. Thank you so much for the lovely question. We are in the era of immediacy, because even when we Google it, we don't wait for the result to come after 5 minutes or 2 minutes. Okay, when you Google it, you can see at the side of the interface in 0.0004 seconds. So that much is our patience. If we don't get the result within that nanoseconds, we will rephrase our search. So the problem is not with the organizations or the newsrooms, it's with us. Yesterday, somebody was saying about it, it was so good. ChatGPT is the new Google. So we want everything hot, we want everything immediate. So there is a demand, there is a need, and the supply, something like that. On the other end, news organizations, journalists are also equally responsible, because it is all about the news business. I'm not talking about the endogenous initiatives. I'm talking about, especially in country like India, news is news, and any media is owned by multinational investors. So the newsrooms need to generate revenue. For that, they need exclusives. They need first of its kind, first to the audience. In a war of 10 people, who is doing better is all about speed. So the immediacy is becoming a biggest challenge nowadays. It's not only in broadcast, in social media, in digital also. Exclusive footage, exclusive visuals, whether it is right or wrong, you need some time, right, to understand it. But there are tools to do it as early as possible. So that is what I was talking about. We need to be honest with all these kind of tools, AI tools, and digital tools, to check as early as possible. Because in a shift of 8 hours, it is like a marathon. So it's like you have to be keep on running for 6+ hours, 1 hour probably for your lunch. Okay, and sometimes you cannot have your coffee also if during election hours. So immediacy is the biggest challenge anywhere. Yes, few academicians are blessed because our days are much better. Sometimes no, People say if you are having a peaceful morning, it's a bliss. News person cannot have a peaceful mornings because he has to run. So the balancing all these things is the big trouble nowadays. And there is an element of business that makes a big deal in country like India, in country like where so many outlets are there. We are not in the era of state-owned media. When I was in school in 80s, 70s, okay, there is no immediacy, there is no trouble. Okay, I get information, whatever I want to get. Nobody forced me. I was not having FOMO. Now I'm having FOMO. Okay, today morning we were having a discussion. The UK Prime Minister came to India and they were having lots of MOU. He was asking what are those MOUs. So I was very busy with this 2 days conference. I know that one of the important point what I wanted to learn, I learned it. He promised that more UK institutions are going to have campuses in India because I am an academician, so I learned that. If he asked me, sir, what are the commercial MOUs they did? No. I don't have an answer, but it did not create me as a FOMO. If I am having FOMO, then it's a trouble. So it's a pressure and pull on all the levels. Journalists, because journalists are driven or pushed by the editors or the organizations. Ma'am was talking about a student coming out of mainstream news and started selling credit cards, if I'm not wrong, because the organizations push people, because the editors wanted to give it first to the audience want to know because they don't want FOMO.
Well, thank you, Dr. Vijay Kumar. Yeah, can you just pass this microphone on to Meera? Yeah, I just want to add a follow-up question to you. As we don't have luxury of time in journalism, um, like literature, it's not literature, rather it's a literature in hurry. Journalists have to do the literary work in hurry. So considering the issue of speed, what do you think? How do our newsrooms, institutionalize fact checking and verification, but without compromising with the speed?
Not possible. No, I just wanted to add what Vijay said. The definition of news has changed. So if there is an earthquake in Philippines yesterday, somebody was saying that is important news for you because you are from Philippines and you are in India and you are going to go back to Philippines. Okay, if somebody in my family is in US, I'm worried about what Trump is talking. Okay, so the whole concept of news has changed in my understanding. Second is that accuracy versus speed is a historical debate with media. So I don't have the answer. The third thing I just wanted to add is this: when he's saying that, is that my personal take is that the audiences will take their own kind of decision. That's why we have JOMO also, no, now. FOMO के जैसा जोमो भी है ना, joy of missing out. People are taking digital detox. People are not taking their phone on. Like we have one faculty who keeps writing on a WhatsApp group saying, I am on digital vacation, so I'll not be reachable. Who is interested in knowing if you are on or you're not? But he also has to say that. So he has a FOMO. So he's informing others that he's not going to be online. But the reality is that I feel that all of us as intelligent human beings, we'll have done clickbaits, would have gone out of it. So we'll figure it out. My as a micro context, I feel that the audiences will kind of figure that out. But at a macro level, the challenges are going to be more and more complex because the sites are being blocked, the journalists are being harassed, the alternate media is being kind of they try and do everything possible for not to have an alternate voice. And that's where the fear is. But as teachers, as researchers, my concern is that can we make people realize that there are alternative views? Because what is happening with the digital and especially with algorithms is that mainstream is going to keep going. And somebody said in the opening plenary that let's do questions and counter questions. Let's try and understand 1, 2, 3 sides. Because what is happening is we are only talking about left and right. A lot of us are in the middle, no? None of us want to be left and none of us want to be right. Some of us might be interested in left, I'm not sure. Some some of you might be right, but I'm on a fence. So my as an educator, my concern is that my students should understand that there are three sides to everything and probably more. Are you open to that? Can we be kind of little more respectful? Can we be a little more open to the idea that there can be other ways of looking at the same thing? And in an Asian context, it's extremely essential because we can't have a singularistic way of looking at things. So that's kind of my take. Thank you.
Right, thank you. Are you trying to respond something? Very briefly, in 1 minute, because you will have more questions from
Yeah.
the audience.
We can make it 30 seconds.
Yeah.
The only point here is that in terms of speed, we try to resist the temptation of being first. The operative rule is that we would rather be right than to be first, even if journalism is said to be history in a hurry. Just because we are in a hurry, it doesn't mean that we will try to be first. As part of the alternative media, we are not trapped by scoop mentality. In fact, we don't believe that we would want to be first. We're not after clickbaits. We're not after going viral. Our concern is to get the truth out there as fast as possible without compromising the quality of journalism that we practice. That's it. Thank you.
Okay.
1 minute. Yeah.
Thank you. Now we are going through audience questions. Feel free to raise your hand and to be very specific. Okay, here in the second row, then third, fourth, last row. 2 hands are raised.
Yeah, Kalinga Seniratna. I have two questions, one for the Thai and the other one for the Filipino. Now, in the Thai context, I live in Bangkok at the moment. I've been there a few months. You mentioned about the Cambodia-Thailand conflict. I just can't understand what's going on because both countries have exactly the same culture. But I also know that there's a lot of hate speech on both sides in the social media. About a month ago, I was at a media briefing at the Foreign Correspondents Club. The Military Information Ministry and the Foreign Ministry gave this media briefing. And only at the very end of it, after about 2 hours, a young Thai woman who runs a social media network asked the question which I wanted to ask, but I didn't want to ask. Because there has been scam centers in Cambodia, which are run by this Hun Sen, and his son is the cronies. And Thailand, people who are coming to work there used to come to Thailand from overseas. And the Sinatra government was cracking down on it. And this was what led to this conflict, the prime minister being sacked. So that, for me, that seems to be the issue here. But the Thai media don't seem to be talking about it. And there seems to be some silence. So I want to know your view, even at University at Chula and other places, do you discuss it among the students? Why is that the real issue is being ignored? And some other issue which I can't understand as a Buddhist, why these two countries are fighting. Now, for you, Philippine, you mentioned about a dictatorship. I'm not sure if you were referring to Duterte or the old Marcos. So now this Marcos is in power and he's doing everything what the Americans want. Now you may remember in 1986, American helicopters airlifted the Marcos family from the palace when 80,000 people surrounded the palace. And he was 13 years when he fled on the American helicopter. Then for the last 40 years, successive Filipino governments have been trying to get the stolen money of the Marcoses, which were mainly in America and America-linked other offshore things. American government never cooperated with the Filipino government to get this money. They hardly got any money back for the last 40 years. So now is Marcos paying back the Americans and putting the rest of Asia in peril? That's my question. And I don't see the Filipino media discussing it because English language media is quite influential and I log into it often. And I can't see the Filipino media discussing, is there a link between Marcos's wealth, which has been protected in America, and him going all the way with the Americans and putting the rest of Asia in peril? Okay, so.
Would you like to respond first? Can you extend?
Sound.
Yeah. Okay, I'm not sure if I get your question correctly or not, but you would like to ask like if like students in July discuss about this or not, right? Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Well, yeah, I think in Thailand, the case of the conflict between the fight between Cambodia and Thailand is very superficial. You know, like they just report on what really happened, and it's always linked with nationalism. So they don't really talk in the roots. You know, it's rarely touch on the roots of the cause of the problem. That is about scammer, and I think it's really politicized as well because I think. Someone in Thailand also involved in this kind of thing, you know. So that's why they don't really dig it up a lot. And well, I have to tell you that Thai politics is really complicated, right? I think you know that. So when you dig it up for something, you know, like that's it's just like open a worm of a can of worm, you know, like other stories will come up. So I agree with you that in terms of investigation, you know, like we need to have more investigation on this case and we have to clarify a lot of things. But right now, in this case, media in Thailand just touch on sensationalization of the news. They just talk about the casualties. They talk about the nationalism. You know, at the same time, the media in Cambodia also did the same thing. Because I monitor the both sides and that is the lack of investigation and the lack of like reporting to the roots of the cause. Well, come back to the topic. I think I agree with my colleague saying that when we talk about AI, although we use AI a lot, but actually in terms of exclusivity, right? We need to, you know, like have our news very exclusive in this sense as well. I want to hear more investigative news on the roots of the problem, but I couldn't hear one. So if we can produce some investigative news, invest a lot of time and resources, dig it up, you know, in this sense, we don't need to rely on AI much, and we don't need to rely on the competitiveness of FOMO or like the speed, right? But to answer back to your question as well, I think investigation and their exclusivity will make our piece of news outstanding and survive from their competition and the use of AI.
Thank you. Danilo.
Yeah, just quickly, congratulations. You just summarized the complaints of many journalism educators regarding the weaknesses of the Philippine media, especially the corporate media. There's not much culture of investigative journalism that's going on that should provide an in-depth inquiry into the ill-gotten wealth of the Marcos dictatorship at that particular time. And to some extent, you can say that the descriptive nature of reality, because there's not much critical analysis going on in the media, it may have contributed also to the return of the Marcoses in power. So the son of the dictator is now the president. So it was very, very unthinkable, but it happened. Don't get me wrong, many of the corporate media, many of them are our friends. They are very responsible journalists, but they are trapped by commercialism. So sometimes very, very serious issues are trivialized. They just focus on the shallow components of inquiry without much benefit of critical analysis. The alternative media, on the other hand, try to be brave, but the reach is very limited the because of the lack of financial resources. So those are real problems in the media right now. And unfortunately, the US, there is mention of the United States. I don't want, yeah, let's use the term, let's call a spade a spade. Imperialism is a major problem in the Philippines, as there is an attempt of many countries to dominate our economy, and they try to use as puppets certain government officials. So yes, I agree with you. The United States plays a major role in determining the country's history. So
Well,
very
thank
much
you,
similar to our
Danilo,
experience.
Dr. Danilo.
Sorry it took so long.
Just a
Thank you.
brief note for the audience. If while insights are really insightful and detailed, due to time constraint, I would like you to share with our panelists your concern briefly. And if there is only one question, it would be easier for panelists and us to accommodate with the time frame as well. Backside.
Good morning. Is it working better? Yeah. Good morning. My question was with regards to all this public relation content, user-generated content, now AI-generated content. Well, I've been optimistic 2 days ago, so I don't want to turn into the pessimistic side, thinking it's going to be a losing battle. But I'm wondering, my question is, are we gradually moving for newsrooms from fact-checking into certified content, like C2PA? So the JTI initiative that Dr. Arrow was mentioning is certainly one option to qualify and give credibility to one newsroom. But do we need to go one step further and have sort of certified content that would help fact-checking OSINT for open source intelligence, that would use certified content itself and not only the newsroom?
Would you like to respond? I mean, Meera or Dr. Vijay?
Yes, I agree with you. There has to be a self-regulatory mechanism that I don't want to use the word accreditation, but would fact check and monitor the media. In the Philippines, we have an organization, a private organization called the Center for Media Freedom and Responsibility. They try their best to do that. They criticize good journalism and they also praise they criticize bad journalism and they praise rather good journalism. Okay, sorry I mixed it up. But so there are initiatives like that. At least in the Philippines. And I do understand that in other countries, there are self-regulatory frameworks as well. Now, just as a matter of disclosure, this is the last point I promise. The government tries to meddle with media content, and that's what we oppose, because sometimes they would say that in order to professionalize the media, we should come up with laws that would regulate fact-checking and all that. For us, it's not a solution. And in fact, it can also be weaponized to repress the media. They would say that we want an anti-fake news law, but they will be repressing not fake news, but critical reporting. And our government is very notorious for that. If you are critical, they would say that you are fake news. So yeah, that's the story of our lives. Sorry.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone wants to add on that particular question? Meera?
No, like one thing that I feel is that because newspapers and magazines had to register themselves in India, digital portals still, as of now, has no necessary mandatory requirements. So institutionally, the accountability is still to be questioned, and self-regulation has started happening long back, because people who are not regulating themselves or people are giving kind of explicit opinions have been kind of killed or has been jailed and have been kind of intimidated. So though we don't want to be pessimistic, the realistically speaking, it is a difficult time, because who is speaking for whom is very, very problematic to be identified, because earlier it was easier. In digital, it gets masked. So that's a kind of, I think, one of the concerns.
Well, thank you. Any additional questions? Yeah. Any final one or two questions? Yeah, in the front. Maybe also a few questions I'm personally expecting for them from women participants as well.
So this is a follow-up question. In
Okay.
fact, I got a message
you.
from Ruben Banerjee, who is a very eminent journalist in India, on 5th of August, my channel has been removed by YouTube. We all know those kind of stories. So it's it's very much contested. Whose regulation? Is it self-regulation, state regulation, or the corporate regulation? And how to have a balance between all these regulations, and so our press freedom can be intact, and the independent journalists can work with all their ethics, values, and ideologies. Anybody can ask.
Yeah, please.
Hello. Okay. Well, I would like to mention a very important quote from Maria Ressa. She just mentioned a very important key term, information Armageddon. She mentioned about this in the recent UNGA in New York. I think this is really important because right now in the age of AI and technological advancement, that anyone can produce anything, you know, and then we're gonna have information overload, and we don't know, and especially with AI, we don't know which one is true, which one is fact, which one is information, which one is fiction, which one is non-fiction, which one is trustworthy, which one is just for the sake of meme. I think that's what is everything is all blur, and actually in United States, there was a case that the Trump supporter got shot, right? And actually it because of the political meme that drive the gunman to do that. See, everything is all mixed up, So I think in this sense, we need to have digital literacy on both sides, because right now their audience can be a producer as well. So without the media literacy at the beginning, at the baseline, that media consumption, right, until the top of the pyramid, which is media generation, if we lack of AI literacy and technological literacy, that would be very difficult. But again, everyone has their own ideology. We need to break our echo chamber in order to gain, more information from different sides. I think that's what I would like to reflect.
Thank you.
I would like to
Yes,
add,
ma'am.
I would like to add a small point. I will not take much of time. It's not about news portal. It's not about information. Even individual accounts can be blocked. If lots of people report to it, it can be blocked. The matter is very simple. We need to be very careful, and we need to go through the platforms, policies. That is very important. The word choices, the whatever, no, the words you use, the keywords or something like that, that will stand against you at some point of time. So we need to be very clear about the law book, the book, the SOPs or their statements and all. Then we need to implement it in our stories. That is very important. Or otherwise, you have given consent for the platform to remove your work. Simple. It's your social media account or your Instagram, whatnot. Even couple of college students can report and can block your account. It has happened to many influencers who talk about social issues. So it is not only for the news organizations, it's for individuals. If I keep on using words and keywords and things like that, which is not okay
Thank
with
you.
the platform, I'm out.
Yeah, thank you. Yes, ma'am. Your question.
Sorry.
Okay, how do they earn? As I said, they work for free in Bulatlat, but they are allowed to take on jobs that do not conflict with journalism. For example, in my case, if we want to talk about my personal life, I get my salary from the university, so that supports me. It doesn't pay much, but if you're a journalist, you have to live a life of poverty. And the good thing about my wife is that she loves me because not because of my money, okay, but because of something else. So that's how we earn. And on a more serious note, we are able to raise funds for projects and programs, so that sustains us. Donations also help a lot. I'm not asking you for donations, by the way, but that helps a lot. And international solidarity, would also help bolster our campaigns. And that's why we appreciate the support that has been given to us through the years. So we're able to survive. And if you're a website, the main operational cost will be the domain name registration and web hosting and the rental of office. So those are our overhead expenses. That's it. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. Just a minute. There are no more questions. Thank you very much for very pertinent questions being raised. I'm coming to you, please. So since due to time constraint, so may I request all of you to sum up your insights. If you want to address their questions, address them, but it would be your sum up short of closing remarks in 30 seconds. Any one actionable, doable recommendations from this panel, each one of you in 30 seconds.
That's it. Thank you.
We are in a digital era, so embrace digital. Make sure that you are not alien towards digital. Be friendly with digital so that you can serve better. Your ecosystem is a work ecosystem, and things are really helpful to you and for the organization, ultimately for the people. Finished within 30 seconds.
Great.
Stay safe.
Well, for me, I think agility is a keyword because you need to be agile, because we're gonna face the next wave, which is not only AI. Next year, we're gonna face new things, So we don't know. So be agile for the newsroom and classroom. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. Before I call on stage AMIC General Secretary to have some announcement, I just want to sum up with the line that, press freedom or freedom of expression is not just a principle. It is a daily act of defiance. I agree with you. It's a fighting. And we should not let the authorities engage in controlling the media or defining the term self-regulation on their part. There should be independent mechanisms at least across democracies. And with that note, I would like to thank each one of you. Can you give them a big round of applause for wonderful insights? What is this? Oh, okay. Except for you.
I'll, I'll do a multitasking while they're having their photo op. Just 3 reminders. You remember the scavenger hunt? You have until 12 noon to submit your entries. We have received some, but please join. Look at your microsite for the rules on the scavenger hunt. The second one, at 1:30, we please those of you you're all invited to join the book launch. These are books published recently by our members and friends. Please join us. I think the venue is here. So, and if you have books and you failed to inform us that you have books published at least the past 2 years, please join us later so that you can publicize and advertise your recent publications. Immediately after the book introduction by members and friends, we will go to our General Assembly. Our members, especially our representatives, are requested. They're not invited. They're requested to attend. And those who have not renewed their membership or plan to renew their membership or plan to be a member, you are also invited to our General Assembly so that you would know what are being prepared by the AMIC Secretariat for next year and the years to come. And we have a big ear. We listen to suggestions. Finally, I was looking up our French AMIC member at the back. Please don't forget, some of you have received the QR code for this, for the MIL survey. Some of you are already part of our group chat. Otherwise, we will have the QR code posted all around at the lobby so that you could join us. It would take you about less than 5 to 7 minutes or even less to fill out the survey form. So very important, we would appreciate if you could join us, scan the QR code and answer the question. If you do not answer, if you do not participate, you are denied your dinner. Thank you very much. We now proceed to our parallel sessions, right, Ma'am Muppet? Muppet, we proceed to our parallel sessions. Thank you. And we have a parallel session.
Yep. Hello, everyone. I'm Ibrahim, and I'm going to moderate this session L2. I welcome all of you to the parallel session L2. The session theme is navigating AI, digital marketing, social media, and governance. We have 8 papers in the session. Can I see the paper presenters here? Are the paper presenters